just going to provide some context on what we're talking about. So Q&As are gone from your Google business profile, and we're going to see a lot of changes happening with your Google business profile pretty quickly. And so therefore, why this change is important, what is coming, and why we should pay attention. Because your local, as far as your SEO is concerned, visibility matters. And for the local business owner, this is your Google business profile is what kind of engages visibility. So in this, we're going to do a little bit of introduction on Google business and how they started, which kind of informs us to where they're going. So importance and like some ranking insights, and then common challenges that we all see, like the recent changes. And then I'm going to give you some at the end of this and give you some pro tips. And then ironically, we'll do a Q&A session if you have any questions. Okay. So a little bit of background. So Google My Business as it is, most of the changes like were done in reaction to a market problem. For example, Google My Business was like My Business, Places, Google Local. Do you remember for a time like there was a point where Google was trying to do social media in a way, and so they just combined all these platforms, and it started in 2014. And so you had access to maps, you had access to your business information, and then this local, they just combined them all. And it was good. It was actually good for us because it allowed the local business owner to compete in this thing called the map pack, which is those three listings that pop up. And right now, if you looked at food near me or steakhouse near me, you would get probably a selection of ads. And then the next thing you would get would be the map pack, that like the three most popular and why it's choosing. And so you're now visibility. But if you look below that and the traditional organic, you'll probably see these really large companies. And so you weren't really allowed to compete in Google before that. You had to compete with everybody. And so this kind of changes those local searches, which is super important. And why that's important is because if you want to generate phone calls or you want people to drive to your business or even website business, those first three spots equal 54% of clicks on that page. So half of the amount of clicks are not clicking ads. They're not clicking the traditional stuff. They're clicking one of the three in the middle. And if to compare that to page two results, that's 0.63%. So if you want to grow your business, the first move I would say is own some keywords and rank in the top three in that what we call that map pack. And this is crazy for most business owners, they'll spend minimum of 5 to 10K on their website that no one will see. And so there's all this investment in a billboard. I call it the billboard in the woods. Like, hey, that might be the best billboard on the planet, but it's in the middle of the woods. It's not next to a highway. No one can see it. And the deer are not your customers. So this digital front door to your business is closed for most. And why is this Google's objective? And the reason why is because they're selling ads. Google's not your friend. You get nothing free in life, really, because it's going to cost you time. It's going to cost you effort to rank organically. And to the small business owner, Google is likely an enemy of yours. The good news is that you can become an ally. Google's objective is to make it itself look good. I call this the nightclub promoter effect. If any of you have the idea of the New York City nightclub promoter, they what happens is there's a man at the door, and that man says whether you can come in or not based upon the way that you look. So pretend that's the top three. Those get in the door, and there's all so that's all the people in your first page of search. They're in the club, but then there's the VIP, and those VIP get into this top three map pack, and they do so organically. What's interesting is this forces you to buy ads to sit at the top, the very top of search. So it creates the problem where you need to spend the money, which is really genius on their part. But before you spend those hard-earned marketing dollars in Google ads, and you're a local business, I would really push you to optimize this. And basically, the common mistakes are with Google My Business is that everyone kind of treats it like this one night stand relationship. They set up the profile information that they might even put in a service area, not an address. They get a few reviews on occasion. It's like texting, "Hey, are you up late? Sup, you up?" And they never respond to reviews or questions when really your relationship with your Google My Business, your Google business profile should be more like a marriage. It should be consistent communication. And so what Google looks for and what it's trying to measure is these two almost immaterial things, authority and trust. Now, we do that naturally as humans between people, but you're talking about a software that's trying to ascertain what authority looks like and what trust looks like. And so Google puts out these trust signals, like how do you build a relationship with someone? And if you think about my relationship with my now wife, I was dating her, it was basically having consistent trust signals over time. And so you have to engage with your customers. You have to build trust through customer feedback. And then you have to create engaging content for visibility. These are like the three main pillars. So what's what's really changing is one of those trust pillars that we used to rank was the Q&A section. And we would put commonly asked questions in there, and we would say, hey, like for example, how much does your website, how long does it take to build a website? How much do they cost? We would answer those questions. And because of that, we would deliver really high value trust signals to the Google business profile. And then they would rank us higher in the maps. This was like the secret sauce to a lot of things. And Google has said, no, people aren't participating enough in that. They aren't trusting it. We are going to use our new AI platform to do that. And so it just basically kind of removed one of the pillars we've trusted for so long as people who do local SEO and help businesses rank. And so we're left, okay, what's this going to look like? And so what Ask Maps is doing is basically it's going to use its AI platform or language learning model, Gemini, to pull all the data and use this natural language that we haven't really experienced before. So, for example, if you have photos of handicap accessible bathrooms and entryways and stuff like that, Gemini will be able to pull the data from those images and say, and when they make a voice request, hey, send me all of the locations that are serve Greek food and are handicap accessible, it's going to automatically generate from those sources and answer in a very natural way. So that makes our strategy for content kind of change. All this is coming on us pretty quick. So what do we do? So the first thing is stay calm and just approach this slowly. But I would avoid the changes that people do when they kind of panic. They go, okay, I have to over optimize the other parts of the Google business profile in order to be seen more. And one thing I've seen is like you really want to avoid like suspensions or going back into verifications. If you guys have done this recently where you have to re-verify your account, it's a pain because you got to do it all through video, and then you just have to wait and see if that was good enough for them to verify the account. So make sure you don't make any changes to your name or your address or your phone number or the primary category, if at all you can avoid it, because these types of things where you stuff keywords into those deals will start to unravel the trust connectors you have with Google. And so I would just be very careful. And so what do we do now? What I would do is I would lean heavier into the trust signals. And so I would really look for authentic reviews, consistently post engaging posts. I would definitely go for quality images and videos. I would, if you're working with customers or this is your business, I would go ahead right now and do your basic keyword research and get a keyword heat map. If you don't know what this is, basically, this is where somebody ranks you can do this by a 10 mile to 10 mile grid around and it'll actually do these circles and it'll do like a 1 through 20 of where you rank in the Google Maps, Google Profiles section of your site. So you can actually see where you're ranking a mile from your business, 10 miles from your business. And I think that's really valuable information. And then as you work on it, you can see where those turn more green away from red and yellow into a really dark green, which means you're ranking really high. And then if you have, there's softwares out there, but I would make sure that your profile is at 100%. That's only going to rank you higher. And then they're not disappearing all at once, but it's going to be a slow rollout. But I would copy all the Q&A questions that you have and make sure you have that database to use at a different time and a different location. So now Google isn't like deleting your visibility, it's just changing the rules. And there's definitely more to come because AI is going to play a larger and larger role. Like I said, a lot of when in 2014, 2016, a lot of the reaction of Google Business Profile was to Facebook and all these social media platforms. You might even remember like Foursquare, Yelp, and all these things that were coming on scene. Google looked at it and goes, no, we have to take advantage of this and dominate. And so they're doing the same thing with AI. And so here are my pro tips. If you don't have an automation for your reviews, I would find one that works really well. I would also find one even better that suggests a type of review. So like it goes ahead and prompts them a review that they can click and then automatically post the Google Business Profile. And then it actually helps you write a response to that review. Now, the other thing is you want to respond to every review, the good, the bad, the ugly. If they're not legitimate, here's a special tip. I would go to your Google Maps and then report it from the Google Maps section. You actually get a little bit more that you can report there than if you report it from the Google Business Profile section. Then I would keep post active. So there's several different types of posts. If you're not posting consistently every week, you're missing opportunities to raise your rank because what Google wants to see is a legitimate relationship with this platform so you continue to build authority and trust. And here's the other trick. This is more about local search. So the more images that you take with your phone, that it automatically actually geocodes those images, but there's other softwares that will rename the file with keywords that you need to rank for and add data into those images and add those geocodes into the media, including connecting to your YouTube channel with that being geocoded as well. Those types of information into the Google Business Profile says that we're here, we're local, and these are the areas that we operate in. And so these are like the advanced pro tips. All of this can be automated and you can use AI to actually create this scenario moving forward. So the kind of more advanced, but like the third part is actually having what we call structured schema markup that matches your Google Business Profile, that tells the search engine that crawls your site that you are the legitimate website for this Google Business Profile and connects them together. And then the second thing is the FAQ section should be on your website. And you should have an FAQ section for every service and or product that you have that you get common questions about, and make sure that makes sense, because where's the AI going to pull the data from? It's going to start pulling them from your site and other listing sites. A great way to find the questions that people are asking is you can go to Answer the Public, which is a great resource. And then you can also use Google's drop downs as you ask it about different subjects. There's a drop down menu typically, and you can go through that block down and then create blogs that answer those questions. The real lesson here is you either have to evolve with it and thrive. And if you get out ahead of it, that's only going to work for you and your customers more. But at the same time, like there's going to be more changes to come, but I just wanted you to be aware of what this change significantly means and where it's going, and that'll create a mindset that you'll begin to rank higher for you and your clients. All right. That's basically the gist. Do you guys have any questions for me? And I will come off share.